teacher talk session tonight, and tonight we are having another educator, as you know, like every week. Tonight we are going to have our 174th event of teacher talk series, and we welcome ELT instructor and academic coordinator at the Modern Languages Department of Yıldız Technical University, Burcu Kayarkaya. She is here. When she comes, we are going to start our live session with her. Burcu hocam, you can send me, but let me invite you to the session. I'm waiting for her to join. Let me see. She has already sent the request. Let me accept her request. Sometimes it takes a little bit time. Okay, just a moment, Burcu hocam. I'll send you an invitation again. Now accept it, please. Hello, Burcu
Hello.
hocam. It's great to see you.
Yeah, it's great.
It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah, it took some
Okay.
time until I could get connected. So
Yeah,
yeah,
this thing can happen, as you know that. But anyways, no problem. And I would like to say thank you very much, by the way, before starting our live sessions, to accept my invitation for teacher talks and being with us tonight, hocam. It's great to see you here.
yeah. Thank you very much for your kind invitation. It's also it's gonna be an interesting experience for me as well because this is the first time I'm on a live.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah,
So it's gonna,
yeah. Thank you,
yeah, it
thank you.
will be great for all of us. Thank you. Okay, and I know that you are busy. We are all working very busy. So if you are ready, we can start, can we?
Yeah, sure.
All right then. So I know about you, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you. Can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences too?
Okay. So my name is Burcu Kayarkaya, as you have made the introduction. I have been working at Yıldız Technical University for some time meaning more than 20 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm working at Foreign Languages, School of Foreign Languages, Modern Languages Department. So throughout the years, when you spend a lot of time at an institution, you take on some different roles and some responsibilities and duties. I have been working as a test office member, and now I'm working as an academic coordinator at the department. At the same time, I'm pursuing PhD, so I'm also trying to write my dissertation, which is due in December or January this year. So yeah, it's
Good
been
luck.
a time here. Yeah.
I see. Good luck about your dissertation. You write it. Okay. So, Burcu hocam, my next question is, what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
In my own education,
Yeah.
I think I would say it is starting to have my master's degree because
Oh.
I followed different paths here. Normally, people they graduate from university, they have their BA, and they eagerly start pursuing MA, and it goes on if it goes.
Uh-huh.
But I had a different schedule. I started working upon receiving my BA degree, and then I had my first child. I had my only child, and then I had to spend some time with him. And he started primary school, and then I went back to school. So I
Oh, I
I
see.
approximately spent 8 or 9 years from yeah. So that was the time between my BA degree and starting my MA. So it was something like pumping fresh blood into my veins, you know.
I see.
Not because I received my MA degree from Boğaziçi University, not because the university, but because, you know, when you are in the teaching process, when
Uh-huh.
you're not doing much about continuous development or professional development, you know, you are trapped in that cycle. Teaching
I see.
arrives, the group leaves, and you are not really aware of what you're doing, how is it going, what is next, what should be done. The most important
Exactly.
was that MA degree helped me carry out some reflections, do
Oh,
reflections on what I'm doing, what should I do to make it a better process. And really, it was a very transforming experience for me.
no, I see. I see. Thank you very
And
much for sharing this
yeah,
experience.
and I think maybe the difference here was that I had accumulated some kind of experience as a practitioner, and then when I
Uh-huh.
turned back to academia, I could then fill in the blanks. You know, I could then practice
I
with
see.
because without one of them, the other really falls weak. But
I
if you have
see.
to
Mm-hmm.
link the two, it becomes a more meaningful experience.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Burcu Hocam. It's really interesting moments that you had and sharing with us here. Thank you. And I know that you just mentioned that you've been for a long time as an educator and teacher, and probably in this your career and your education life, I mean, you have tried different techniques, different methodologies, and different strategies in your teaching with your students, and probably you have a philosophy of teaching.
Yeah.
What is it? What is your philosophy of teaching?
Um, that's, you know, a very classical question, but it's difficult to answer this question because our philosophy also changes over time. It doesn't stay constant. It doesn't stay the same. And I think it shouldn't stay the same because we are
Uh-huh.
evolving. And I could say, for the time being, now where I am standing, I could say that my teaching philosophy is making learning a transformational experience for teachers and students at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a conception that students are learning. No, students are not the only people that are learning in the teaching context. We as teachers are also learning. For
Definitely.
example, we transform and we change in a way after teaching each and every student group. When we come back for this next year, we are not the same teacher. Maybe we are not following the same methodology because it didn't work the previous year. Maybe we are adding up something else because we think that it will work this time. So both teachers and students are transforming in educational context. And I am happy that I have most of the time been in context where I had the privilege and chance to transform, to evolve in a way that I'm not the same teacher 20 years ago. And when I'm talking about transformation, how can students transform, for example?
Mm-hmm.
If we want to transform, if we want them to change upon the finish of a class or course period, we should
I
make
see.
the learning they have gathered is meaningful. It is purposeful and goal oriented. They know that something will change after completing the course. I think this is transformation. So
I see.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to do.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Thank you for sharing them with us. And it's really interesting that the philosophy also here, but totally I agree with you. The things that you say here. And we are educators, and in our career, we have a lot of different stories, as you know that. Some bad stories, some good stories, and some failed, and some success stories we have.
Yeah.
Can you tell us one or maybe two success stories of yours, something inspirational? But maybe if you want to talk about your failed stories, we can also listen them if you would like to tell us here. But it's up to you. Hocam.
I would like to start with a success story, of course.
Okay, okay, of course.
If you okay, so remember that we talked about it very recently. I was granted with a scholarship from TOEFL,
Yeah,
from ETS. So that has been a very rewarding award for me. It has been a very,
wonderful. Congratulations about it.
thank you very much. It really means a lot because I was just trying to make a submission for the IATEFL 2025, which is going to be in Edinburgh next year. And I saw that there were some scholarships which are open to apply as well. So I said, why not try your chance? And that was the last day, I remember. And they wanted me to make a submission about my research. So it was about my PhD dissertation. And plus, they asked me to write about my understanding of EAP courses. What does it mean? How do we conduct such courses at university? What we are doing in particular? Which aspects of EAP we are focusing on? These kind of things.
Uh-huh.
So I made 2 submissions because they were going to be assessed in collaboration. And then I got the good news that I was my submission was
Wonderful.
for the talk, for the workshop, and plus I was granted the scholarship. So I will be attending the conference as a TOEFL grantee, and that really made me very happy. Yeah.
Perfect. Really, I want to give a clap about it. Thank you
Thank
very much. And really, I'm sure that it's gonna be really excited for you. You will feel it,
I hope.
definitely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hocam. And as an, experienced teacher, or also you are working as a coordinator in one of the very best universities in Turkey. So when you think about this, and there are a lot of teachers around you working with you, and when you think, and we need to have some, good qualities, important qualities and skills
Yeah.
to be successful in teaching, to teach English. So when you think about this, for you, what are the most important qualities and the skills for language teachers should possess?
I see. The first thing I could say is I'm not talking about the skills and qualifications really, but I would
Okay.
like to stress, I want to highlight some important questions that we need to ask
Sure.
that determine our teaching. For example, there are some very basic but foundational questions that every English or language teacher should ask. For example, what are those questions? These questions are: who is a language learner? What is a language? What makes a language? What is the importance of language in this globalized world? What is the student going to do with the language? These questions are very important because the answers that we provide for such questions frame our understanding of methodologies, teaching practices, how we approach students, how we approach materials, how we approach content. For example, are you a teacher with a monolingual perspective? Are you a teacher with a multilingual perspective? These make a big difference in determining what kind of goals and purposes you're going to pursue in your career. I think this is the first thing that teachers need to do. Where am I standing in this language paradigm? What
I
is it
see.
I'm trying to teach? And secondly, I think what is important for practitioners is that to have belief in what they are doing. I'm sure that maybe there are language teachers who are listening to us right now, and they have gone in processes when they said, what am I doing here? What is it that I'm teaching? It is pointless. It's not helping the students. It's not helping me in any way. So imagine a teacher with such kind of ideas in mind and entering the classroom to teach something. So what
I see.
can the teacher teach it? So I think having belief in what you're doing, believing that what you're doing in class, what you're doing for students pays off for something, it is going to create a difference in students' life. And the last thing I would say would be creating some bonds with the students.
With the students.
Maintaining good relationships, because the classroom is a social environment at the end of the day, and we are social beings, so we need to create relationships, we need to share emotions, we need to understand our emotions in order to fulfill the necessities in classroom.
I see. Thank you.
These are
Thank you
the
very much.
most I
I see. And you mentioned really, the important points when you talk about it here, Burcu hocam. Thank you. Thank you hocam. And hocam, the department you are working is like at modern language departments, and that department offer EAP courses to undergraduate
uh-huh,
students, if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
My 2 or 3 questions is going to be related to this.
Okay.
My first question is, what is your approach to EAP teaching and the related skills building you have been applying as the academic coordinator of the department?
Uh-huh. Yes, we offer undergrad courses to students studying at various departments at university. And we offer courses under the name of EAP, English for Academic Purposes. You know, EAP is different from other types of teaching English for other purposes, because it aims at helping students to use language appropriately for research purposes and for study
Uh-huh.
purposes at university. For example, when they are pursuing education at their departments, or after graduation, when they want to pursue education in a foreign country, in a different country, which requires them to use English as the medium, for example. So,
I see.
from this perspective, we try to create courses and course content that are helping them to survive in academic contexts. These are kind of skills building courses, for example, academic reading, academic writing, speaking, business English, these kind of things. So when we are planning the courses, we are doing it together with our managerial staff, with our testing members, and including me and my partner in academic coordinatorship. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to align the content that we want to expose the students to with their needs and interests, and plus with what they are going to do after graduation,
Mm-hmm.
and what will be necessary for them to do. So these are the principles that we are working on, and we create our own materials because, you know, every student profile is unique, and it's not very
Definitely.
find
Mm-hmm.
materials uh, for university students. So we are trying to do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. I see. Thank you, Hocam. Actually, you just mentioned about the different from teaching English for other purposes, but maybe you would like to add another. How is this, how is teaching EAP
Uh-huh.
different from teaching English for other purposes?
Yeah. Yes, I talked about it a bit, but I want to talk about some kind of the things that we include in our courses. Maybe it will provide a clearer picture about what we are doing in
Sure. Mm-hmm.
courses. Because we are working at the same institution with similar student profile for a long time, we can really witness and understand what kind of things are changing and what kind of things are necessary, which needs to be added up to the list. So
Mm-hmm.
one thing our students, and I'm sure that this is the case for most students in Turkey at university level, one thing that our students need is the development of critical thinking skills. It
Oh, I
is
see. Mm-hmm.
development or learning or mastering the art of questioning. It might be information literacy. It might be reading something that you find online. It might be a speech that you are listening to. But in our time today, when we are surrounded with enormous amount of information, what matters is
Oh, kind of connection. I think Burcu hocam's connection problem she is having now. Yes. Oh my God. Let me invite her again. Just a moment. Something happened. I have invited her again, and I'm waiting. There she is. Okay. Wonderful. Welcome back.
I thought that there was a connection problem and it's removed.
Not a problem, hocam.
I don't know where you stopped listening to me, but I was just talking and talking, you know.
It's just the last part. I mean, the last part. Yeah.
I was talking about what kind of activities and what kind of content we are including in our courses. So our number one priority is to teach thinking. Okay, this is what we are doing, because it doesn't matter if you are teaching speaking or writing or whatever. It is very easy to teach the organization of it. Let's say that you are teaching writing an argumentative essay. You can easily show them the organization, what they are going to write in the introduction, in body paragraphs, in conclusion, whatever, and they can very easily learn it. But when it comes to production, the main issue arises, and it is the fact that the student says, Hocam, I don't know even what to say in my first language, right? So this is a complaint that we are really hearing very commonly from the students. They don't know how to produce ideas. They don't know how to support their ideas, what to say. So this is the first step. If they learn explicitly how to think, how to question, how to ask the right questions, and then they can learn the skills, the organization, the mechanics in order to organize their thoughts and put them into relevant places.
I see. I got it. Thank you very much, hocam. And my last question about that EAP, maybe there are a lot of teachers want to teach EAP, but yeah, maybe they will face a lot of difficulties to teach. But in this case, what would you suggest for teachers who want to teach EAP?
Of course, they need to think about their students first, as we did. They need to know their context very well. What are the needs of their students? What are the interests? What are expected from them, from the faculties, from the departments, or after graduation in terms of the job field, for example. And then they need to tailor their content specifically to their students in academic environments. They need to focus on academic skills themselves. They need to get exposed to texts of different genres, you know. They need to maybe pursue professional development. So they need to be involved in academic content so that they can transfer their knowledge more effectively to their students.
I see. I got it. So they need to be, careful about all this, the aspects that you mentioned here. Actually, maybe they think that it's very easy. Oh, I can teach EAP, but when they come to the reality, I think it won't be what they think.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you situation, you understand that there are a lot of parameters, there are a lot of complexities that you need to work on.
I see. Thank you very much, Hocam. Thank you, Burcu hocam. And you mentioned at the beginning of the session about your, the prize that you won, and you have won actually a scholarship, IATEFL scholarship.
Yeah.
And can you tell us more about it? And what did you do to do it? And how did you feel about it? And if, the teachers want to get these kind of scholarships, what would they do to do it?
Yes, I talked about it a bit, but I can say that, IATEFL is a very big organization. It's one of the one or two most important events in ELT that is annually organized. So what I would recommend for teachers or researchers who would like to attend and present their work, IATEFL, is that they are very strict and they they have a very strict procedure of application. They have uploaded some videos in order to guide teachers and researchers in the process of writing how to make a submission, what kind of information they should include in the submission, what makes a submission that could be effective or that could win a place or secure in the conference. So what I would recommend them is to watch those videos and understand what they are going to do, what they have to do. You know, there might be some different requirements of each conference. And for IATEFL, these requirements are very strictly stated. So
I
they need
see.
to do a little bit background work before they write up their submission and send it to IATEFL. And for the scholarship, there are a number of scholarships available, and for each scholarship there is there are some prerequisite requirements.
Oh,
For
I
example,
see.
you cannot apply to every scholarship because you don't qualify. For example, TOEFL scholarship was one of the scholarships that I could qualify and I could apply for. So they need to look at it very carefully and decide whether they qualify for the scholarship or not. And then there are the requirements of the scholarship, what the scholarship wants you to do. For example, in my case, it wanted me to talk about English as an for academic purposes, course outlines and course content. That was the requirement by TOEFL scholarship, but of course other scholarships might require you to do something else. So they need to be very careful about reviewing the materials, watching the videos, which are really instructive, and show the way through a successful submission.
I see. So, wow, you mentioned all the process, but it's not easy. It takes really time.
Yeah.
It's really not easy to do it and to get the prize. One more time, I would like to say congratulations about that, Hocam, and wish you a good luck there.
Thank you.
Okay, so you know that AI is very the popular, and we can't escape it. We can't ignore it, especially these days. It all around the world we can see it, the AI. So I'm sure that you are also using it sometimes. We get help from it. So if you do that, probably you can offer us one, maybe two, or maybe three example tools that you like to use it in your lessons or maybe in your daily life.
In my daily life, I use ChatGPT a lot, to be honest, for my own work, because I want to work with it. I want to create prompts. I want to revise. I want to get help. But I know how to use it, and I'm developing my skills about using it, But in terms of students, it becomes a little bit problematic because when they are using ChatGPT, they don't know how to use it responsibly. They don't know how to use it as an assistant tool. These kind of tools, when they are used as assistants, could produce great results. But when you get all the information from them and paste it elsewhere, this is not your work. So making this distinction, teaching students, informing them about the responsible use of AI tools, in my opinion, is a must. We should never limit or we should never restrict them from using these tools because they are the future. Because we are using them. Why not them using it? So that's
Definitely.
not fair. But we need to teach them. In my classes, in my own teaching, I'm not a very high-tech teacher, to be honest. I don't use a lot of technical stuff or technological tools, but one or two things that I really like using is, for example, during the writing courses, I like using Google Docs because this is where students can collaborate on a single page together.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what the other student is doing. They can revise the they can rewrite it, they can offer alternatives. And I think it's a great way to work collaboratively in a writing course. Or in my speaking courses, I sometimes ask my students to record their voices, record their speech at the end of the class each week. We have a prompt speaking task, a speaking activity. Because of time constraints, it's not very easy to listen to every single student. But what I do, I ask them to record their speech and then upload it on a cloud that we have as a classroom. So
Mhm.
we can listen to each other's speech. I randomly choose and pick one or two and listen, and I provide teacher feedback. So this is a great way to use technology. And what they do, for example, at the end of the semester, each student has 8 or 7 or 9 recorded speeches. So they can go back.
Wonderful.
They can go back in time. They can listen to their speech that they recorded 5 months ago, for example, 3 months ago. So they can also assess themselves whether improvement is taking place. So
I see.
I
Hmm.
of these kind of tools, but not much, as I said before.
I got it. Thank you very much for sharing the ideas that you use in your classroom. These are also very precious for us. Okay, thank you very much. And I know you are very busy, Hocam, and you are working about a lot of things. So can you maybe, I just wonder, what are you doing right now, for your job? And are you doing anything special, or do you have any projects, or what are you going to do? Something surprise for us?
Yeah, there is no surprise, and it's not very interesting. But we are having a very busy moment right now. Our university is going to open at the end of this month, so we are very hectically getting the last touches and fine tuning on the materials that we are going to use with our students at university. This is what I'm doing in terms of my job. And at the same time, I'm writing my thesis. I'm trying to focus on my thesis at the same time. So these two things are all I'm doing during the day when my son is at school and I have some spare time. So I switch between the two and try to catch up with everything that I should.
Perfect. And you just mentioned that your university is going to open soon. So I'm sure that there are a lot of maybe teachers that they are going to start the work at the university in a prep classes with you. And from here, what advice would you give them to teachers, that kind of teachers, the new teachers who are just starting their teaching careers at the university, the prep classes or EAP classes?
Yeah. So if they are novice teachers, I'm sure it will be a very exciting week because, it's the first week, it's the first time you come face to face to students,
Uh-huh.
you get to know each other, you try to build a positive atmosphere. But as I said before, creating bonds is very important. And in teaching, first impressions are very important as well. When you enter the classroom as a new teacher, when the students see you for the first time in class, the moment you step into the classroom, they start hypothesizing about who you are, what kind of a person you are. Are you a good teacher? Are you a bad teacher? Are you serious? Are you strict? These kind of things. And their imagination is really wild. So they can really come up with really interesting ideas about you. And I think from the first week on, creating a good image, a positive image, and creating bonds with the students, emphasizing that you
Uh-huh.
are to collaborate with them. You are not there to teach. You are there to collaborate, to learn. I think this is very important. This distinction.
Yes, that's a good point. Yes.
Collaborating to learn is different. So this is what the students should be aware. And if they believe that you are not an authority, you are not looking down on them, you are not prescribing anything, but you're just working with them, that changes a lot of things. So I would recommend them to try to create such an environment so that they can keep that way throughout the semester.
Wonderful. Thank you for this nice, and useful suggestions for them. I'm sure that it will, they will listen and they will use it and they will be successful about it. Thank you, Hocam. Thank you, Burcu Hocam. And the time flies and sometimes we can't guess or the future. But maybe let me ask you the question, like, after 10 years, we don't know what's gonna happen. But for you, how do you see yourself in 10 years? Will you still be an educator or instructor at the university, or will you try different things? What is your idea?
I really don't make long-term plans. I'm sincere in that. Yes, I don't make long-term plans, but we are evolving, we are changing. What we were planning to do last year may not be the case here. So,
You're
but
right.
what I can say is that maybe a postdoc degree would be nice in a different country, in a
Wow,
different uh,
great idea.
that would be again a different and exciting experience for me to have, but we will see.
We will see. Thank you very much for sharing about them, Hojam. And there are a lot of times that we face, in our life, and some, they're easy to cope with it, but some of them are really challenging, and sometimes we cannot find the solutions or we can't solve the problem easily. But when that time comes and we say, "Oh, I wish I could that kind of a superpower, so I could fix it easily or I could solve it easily." When you think about this in our classroom, if we could have one superpower to use it, what in the classroom, of course, what would it be and how would it help you?
I sometimes think it when I'm in front of the students in the class. I sometimes look at them and wish, the computer game Sims.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I,
Sims.
I think, what if the students had those um, pearls, the green pearls above their heads?
Yeah,
You know, in the computer game, the green pearls show the Sims moods. How do they feel? Are they hungry? Do they need sleep? Do they need entertainment? But I say, what if we had these kind of pearls or diamonds above students' heads so that I can understand, is learning taking place? Are they experiencing some kind
very
of,
nice.
are they bored? So what is happening? Because when you're in a classroom with students, 30 students, 40 students, it's not very easy to attend to each student at the same time, and we lose some of them naturally. But
I
if
see.
when I see some of the students diamonds are turning red, so alarm is ringing, so I attend to that. That would be nice, I think.
That's
But since
really
students won't see it, I will only see it because I have superpower.
yeah, that's really wonderful, and that's really interesting superpower that I have ever heard, during sessions. I heard a lot of superpowers here, but this is really interesting and really the fun.
I think
Thank you.
that would be nice,
Yeah,
right? That would
definitely. Definitely. Thank you for this great, the superpower, Jam. We wish we could have it maybe one day, I don't know.
maybe.
Okay, thank you. And we think, suppose that we finished our live sessions and you go out from your home and find a lottery ticket, end up winning $100 million, Hocam. And what would you do? Be honest. Tell
100
us
million.
your dream.
I cannot even calculate how much money it makes in us, but I think it doesn't matter. It is so enormous amount of money, huh? It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm not really very good at answering hypothetical type of questions, but of course I need to say something where I spent the money, at least some of it, for educational purposes for the
Yeah.
so in order to create a positive image here, I I think I could open up a facility where there will be numerous recreational activities for everybody. Everybody can join. There is no restriction in population, age, socioeconomic group, whatever. Everybody can join. There are the food and drinks are available for free throughout your time you are spending at this facility. And there are courses, workshops from arts to music, dance, yoga, and the trainers will be the top names in the world because I have a lot of money, so I can
Why
definitely
not?
afford it. I definitely afford it. Imagine that top chefs are training you how to cook, for example. Top artists are helping you in your painting. So that could be
I see. That
idea.
could be really nice and very, very, the exciting. Really, it's really wonderful. That I like the idea, by the way. Probably I would come there. Okay, thank you very much, Hocam.
Thank
And
you.
the time flies, and now I'm gonna ask you my last question. Are you ready, Hocam? Of course, and the most difficult
Go
one.
ahead.
Here is the question. What is your motto?
My motto in teaching or
Both in teaching and for your life, whatever you can say too.
my motto is know thyself. It applies to everything in life.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to your professional life, your private life, your family relations, your relationship with your friends. So knowing yourself is very important. As a teacher, if I know myself, that means I'm aware of my weaknesses and strengths so that I can work on them. I can polish my strengths. I can improve my weaknesses. As a student, if students know themselves, they can also know their weaknesses and strengths. They can know
Uh-huh.
what's best for them. So I think we are most of the time very busy thinking about other people, analyzing others, making sense of what their behaviors mean or are. But what about ourselves?
I
We
see.
don't really see our own actions, our own behaviors, our own psychology. Why am I doing this? What is the underlying reason? So I think these are some philosophical but foundational questions that we need to ask so that we can act accordingly. We can take on the roles that suit us
I
as an individual,
see.
as a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
as a student.
I got it. Thank you very much. Can you just repeat your motto again for us?
Know thyself.
Know thyself. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Hocam. All right,
Thank you.
and that's all my questions, Burcu Hocam. And before ending our live sessions, would you like to add anything else?
Thank you for this very informative and friendly type of speech. So, as I said to you before, that was my first live session. So I was a bit excited, but your attitude, your hospitality made me really enjoy the session. I hope that for the people, our audience who listen to us, I hope that they could relate to what I'm saying because I'm sure most of the teachers, all of the teachers have experienced the things that I have been talking about. And it is good to know that we are not alone out there. Somebody else is also experiencing the same thing. So we are just trying to uh, join our forces.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Burcu Hocam. And I would like to say before ending up, thank you very much for your suggestions, for your advice. And especially the most important thing is your time. You spend your time with us here. That's really important and kind from you. Thank you very much, Hocam. Thank you. And
The pleasure.
Burcu Kayarkaya was with us tonight with Teacher Talks 174th event session, and we are going to be here, as you know, that next week at the same time on the same day, like every Monday 9 p.m. And until the next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Burcu Hocam. And until the next time, bye bye everybody, and peace.
Bye bye. Thank you.